Welcome into Michelob Ultra Arena. I'm Eli Gain, where the Fever fall in Game 2 by a final of 90-68. A game that was a complete 180 from what we saw in Game 1 on Sunday, where the Fever were playing with urgency. They were the aggressor. They were being physical. The Aces did just that here in Game 2, leading nearly wire to wire and basically just making fits all over for this Fever team, offensively and defensively. The Fever on offense committing 21 turnovers that led to 28 Aces points. They also gave up a handful of offensive rebounds that led to second chance points for the Aces as well. So that's 42 points that you sort of give up in those two categories. In terms of shooting the ball, the Aces shooting just over 53% from the field. The Fever shooting just 41%. And we talked about the physicality that was supposed to be made that each team wants to do. When the Aces threw those punches, especially early on in the first half, the Fever just had no response, and it led to all of those careless passes, jamming up the lane, turning the ball over down low, and not being able to get out in a transition like they used to, and setting that fast tempo pace that really had the Aces on their heels. That was in Game 1. So the Aces, they turn the page, they get even, and even this series up at 1 apiece, and now it is a best of 3 series heading forward. Asia Wilson was the tone setter in this one. Chelsea Gray was also phenomenal with her vision on the court. And Alyssa Smith, there's a plethora of Aces players that really came dialed in and got it done for them. Kelsey Mitchell held in check after her 34-point performance in Game 1, missing 10 of her 14 shots. Lexie Hull did make 5 3-pointers, finished with 15 points. Aaliyah Boston did have a double-double, but I think overall the main message, just not physical enough and unable to withstand those haymakers that the Aces were throwing left and right, going on some massive runs, getting the crowd into it, and unable to bounce back from those runs and opportunities that they provided. So once again, the Aces go on to win 90-68. Here's Stephanie White, Lexie Hull, and Aaliyah Boston after the loss.
Phrase has just been beaten. Is this the most physical that you've ever been in from Stanford days on?
I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. But we just keep getting back up. So that's all you can really say.
Oh, okay. You mentioned that you anticipated, obviously, the Aces would want to throw the first punch tonight, but what did you feel like was the differentiating factor between, Game 1 versus Game 2?
We didn't throw any. I mean, the reality is they came in and they were physical and they dictated, and, we were on our heels and we were passive and we were reactive to everything. We 28 points off of turnovers, 14 points off of offensive rebounds. I mean, they're too good. We can't spot them 42. We've got to be able to handle that. I mean, they've been world champions for a reason. They have a mentality that they know exactly how to compete at this stage and at this level. And we've got to be able to respond, and we've got to be able to rise to that challenge.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defensive?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul called every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor, and that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively, and we didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm, it's about timing, it's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
Steph, on that note, with Kelsey just having a little bit of a, they were able to contain her a little bit more. How did you feel like they were able to be successful in that regard?
I mean, the physicality won. She's like a little pinball. I know that the museum's right down the street, so sometimes I feel like she's getting pinged around everywhere. And also, she's played heavy minutes for us. I thought she looked a little fatigued. Some shots that she typically makes that she didn't. Obviously, their attention was AB and Kelsey. Deservedly so. But we were passive. I thought we didn't do a good job of attacking the rim. We were on our heels. We were settling for jumpers. We were holding the ball. We didn't have clock awareness. I mean, a lot of things that are a little bit uncharacteristic of us, but you got to give them credit. They came out and they put us on our heels.
Yeah, Lexie, obviously you were a late add to the injury report today. Just how are you feeling this morning with your back, and what do you have to do to be able to play tonight?
I mean, I'm feeling sore still, but I think just a lot of treatment, trying to get, our bodies as ready as we can be. Part of playoffs, I think, for everyone is it's the end of the season. Everyone's a little fatigued. Everyone's a little sore. So just trying to go out there and do the best I can. Yeah, a lot of treatment with our trainers. I'm really thankful for them to spend a lot of time with me today, a lot of time with me yesterday, getting me ready for tonight. But it'll be a good rest day tomorrow. But I think that's, for everyone. We're just pushing through.
For both Lexie and Aaliyah, I know you guys are focused on this game tonight, but if I could just ask you to look forward to the series going to your home court in Indianapolis, how much is that really going to make a difference in this series, and how much does it mean to you guys to have that home court advantage?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Our fans, they show up and they show out, and so for us just, using that, our own energy, but also using the energy in the crowd, I think it's going to be really great for us.
Yeah, we're excited. I know the last time it was the first playoff game in a really long time, so to be able to have two more for our fans that have been there with us all season, really excited for that, and we definitely do feed off of their energy, so we're really looking forward to it.
Aaliyah, Steph said you guys didn't throw any punches tonight. Why do you feel like that is, and what were you trying to really get going that just wasn't working?
Yeah, I think just getting into our coverages a little bit better, I think that would have helped get them out of rhythm. And so for us, it's just making sure that we clean that up and be a little bit better, because getting stops sparks our offense, and then that gets us into our rhythm.
Yeah, for either Aaliyah or Lexie, you guys both played with Nalissa Smith last year. Just what was she doing so well tonight to kind of just get into a rhythm and help the Aces?
I would definitely say probably her offensive rebounding. She had a few, gave them second chance points, got herself to the free throw line. So for us, we just got to tighten down on that, box out, because obviously she's super athletic and she does a great job of getting to the glass.
Aaliyah, to piggyback on the question about throwing punches, who's throwing first and they're not, you were coming toward us in the first half of the media, and it looked like you were trying to at least get physical. Was it more so a matter of that they were more physical this game than the first, because y'all intimidated them and pushed them around in the first game? Was it a matter of them pushing back and them dominating? Because it looked like you're trying to be physical in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's how you look at it. It looks, honestly, by some of the fouls and the way it was going, looks like we were almost too physical, but yet at the same time, I feel like we have to be able to get that on the other end. I think, sometimes when you just look at the game as a whole, when you look at the way that it works, sometimes you manipulate it into different ways and you have smaller matchups. So, I mean, I just don't think it's really possible all the time for some of those smaller matchups to really do such a clean job of that. But, hey, I'm here to hoop, so none of my business. Swag.
So you think big picture here now. Obviously, the outcome on Tuesday, not what the Fever wanted, but I think this overall road trip, coming to Las Vegas, stealing game one, and having this series even at one is a success in and of itself. Now, home court shifts back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse for games 3 and 4. Game 3 will be Friday night at 7:30, and they're expecting, as you heard, Gainbridge Fieldhouse to be rocking once again for that playoff environments. As always, continue to follow us over the air on 13 News, as well as right here on WTHR Plus for your local home of the Indiana Fever this season. That's going to do it for us in Las Vegas at the Michelob Ultra Arena. I'm Eli Gain. Have a good day.